And she said to me, you've got polycystic ovaries. And so as you can see here, word for word, this is how she says it to me. As you can see here, you're never going to be able to have children. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ngozi, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the little notification bell so you never miss an upload. Today I'll be telling you a story of how a medical practitioner said to me, I will never have children. You couldn't possibly have any children. Okay, so I already have children, for the record, 3. No interventions. I didn't have any IVF. They were very complicated pregnancies, yes. But here's the story. So I find out I'm pregnant, like many would, and I have my test done. I am positive. I then go to the GP where they do a urine test, a blood test, you know, the full-on test just to verify, and they confirm that I'm pregnant. However, I'm carrying a little bit heavy, so she assumes I'm either far along than the dates I'm giving her from when I last saw my period, or I'm carrying twins. So I'm thinking, wow. Now I'm being referred to the hospital, the early pregnancy department, so that they can investigate. I get there and I immediately am told that I have a lot of fibroids. So that became the journey for me, a lot of fibroids, okay? So if I was 3 months pregnant, I was carrying as though I was 6 months pregnant. And if I was 6, then I was looking like I was 9 and ready to burst. At this point, things got complicated. I was working in the city. I had to be in the hospital 3 different days of the week, every week till I gave birth, because I had to see the consultant to check in on me because of the bleeding. I also had to come in every week for aquatherapy to take the weight off my feet because of how big the belly was and how far along I had to go, even though I was carrying at full term. And I also had to have massages every week as well. So that became complicated at work. That really became complicated. Now, I then went on to have my baby after all those complications, and I was then referred to a different hospital to run some tests, to scan, and to see what can be done about the fibroids, seeing as I was going to go on and have other kids. Well, I wanted to have more children, right? So they wanted to know, should they intervene? Is it something they can tamper with? Or is it a case of just sit it out and hope for the best and not touch anything until I was done having babies? So now I have my child. She's about maybe 3 months old, popped her in a buggy, and my husband in the waiting area, and I've gone in to go and see this lady who was going to do the scans and the evaluation. So as she finishes the scan, she says to me, well, look here, as you can see, this is the picture of a normal uterus. But this is your picture on the side here. This is your uterus. And this is how your ovaries are displayed. They were wilted, you guys. They were wilted, they were bent over, they were cranky. They've been through a life that they haven't even lived. And she said to me, you've got polycystic ovaries. And so as you can see here, word for word, this is how she says it to me. As you can see here, you're never going to be able to have children. She said it produces so many eggs, the ovaries throw out so many eggs, and they're never mature. So the eggs never mature, and then they're, you know, sent off looking for a partner. So I was in shock, and I said to her, I'll never be able to have children. She said, no, you couldn't possibly. I said, well, my daughter's outside. I thought I'd better mention this before my daughter gets taken away by the stork. And she said, you do? Well, if you say so. I was shocked, completely shocked. And I thought, well, do I start convincing this woman that I do have a child in the waiting area? I went quiet. I got concerned. I went into myself. I started to wonder, well, maybe it was a fluke that I had this one child, and from what she's saying to me, maybe things have developed and my ovaries have now become a lot more compromised by this first pregnancy. You don't know too much as a first-time mum, and you trust all these medical practitioners with what they're saying to you. You believe them. They're the expert. Yes, they are, and I just thought, well, maybe from here on out, that's what she means. Your mind connects the dots and it runs away with you. So I told my husband, and he said, oh, that's rubbish. And I said, the thing is, she didn't even believe that I had a child, which was really weird. The documentation is there. It would have told you that the patient you are seeing has already had one pregnancy. Did she think it meant one pregnancy that failed? I miscarried something. It didn't make sense. But I tell you, if you're a first-time mum, be on your guard, be ready. When you step into the world of doctors, nurses, consultants, just be careful, be confident, be aware, and be on ready, okay? Don't just be so vulnerable you throw yourself in there and anything you're told, you suck it in like a sponge. You have to be guarded, you have to be careful, and you have to be ready to argue and, find your own way and do some research. So off I went, and I was a little bit worried, but I can tell you that from that day, a year and 10 months later, I had my son. I had already had a girl. I had my son, and then we took a break and I went on to have another daughter. As soon as I took the coil out, I had another daughter. Now, for you out there who is planning to have a child, wants to have a child, even earlier on in life, as you're approaching those years, you start to wonder, will I ever have kids? Can I have kids? Am I fertile? Will I be barren? Would I have complications? You already have those thoughts fluttering in and out. And then you have that confirmed by a medical practitioner. That will throw you for a loop. It could play games with your mind. And you need to be in the best possible state of mind to want to conceive. I can't tell you what would have happened if I hadn't had a child and this woman said this. Oh, that would be difficult. So I'm just saying, for those of you who are wanting to start a family, wanting to plan, be careful and do your research. Don't take no for an answer. Go on and look for a second opinion. And you know what I always think, and what I came away with is, perhaps she was right. I mean, she had the evidence there. Perhaps she was right. But somehow I experienced a miracle. And I have 3 children. So even if the documentation, even if the tests and the evidence points to blah, 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 you can still press through that and get through to what you're looking for, or receive what it is that you thought you wanted in the first place. You have to be careful. You have to be not so trusting of what you're told, at the first scoop. Anyway, that's my story. I have 3 children after being told in the middle of it that I'll never have kids, and I have them and they're amazing. And till today, I've always wondered what she was thinking when she said that to me, especially when I had said I already have a child who sat out in the waiting area. Well, thank you for listening to me, indulging me, and taking the time to tune in. I will see you again soon in the next video. Until then, have an amazing morning, good afternoon, a good evening, a good night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.